Good afternoon or good evening, good morning, whenever you're tuning in. This message is for my earth signs. This message, unlike my others, are not going to be timeless. This is going to be from now into the new year. What is some energy that needs to be cleared out for your healing? As we prepare for this new year, we want to be able to do things that is set for us. We want to make sure that our intentions are right, that we have our true reset. So we're going to look at that tonight. And the first sign that I will do this reading for is for the sign of Virgo. So let's go see what spirit would like for Virgo to know and understand during this time. I'm getting the name Manny. That's why I stopped. So if this resonates with you, if you know someone named Manny, please show Manny the video. Or if you are Manny, welcome. You have downcast pride. Your pride is getting in your way. And that number is 20. If you're into numerology or 20 is your age or you have a special significance with the number 20. Downcast pride. Moon phase is new. It's a new moon. This stage is depression. Bending to adapt becomes an excuse for the habit of bending. The visual seed. The eye is dark with dry blood tears look downwards. The face of a dark-skinned, beautiful elf with gold laurels among her hair is stern and motionless. Roots plunge into her body from a golden collar. The sky behind her is as gray as concrete. Sentence. The root of sadness and grief is deeper than the skin. The only delusion is the gray sky. Going dark. Survival is a direct consequence of adaptation. What we call adaptation is not the result of a subtle but constantly constructive change of ourselves, but rather a mockery of it, as we strip day by day of our dignity in order to avoid conflict with a world that would spread us apart. How can we endure this? Maybe through the power of responsibility or through a hidden core of identity. Sometimes we don't use the best part of us, but rather we draw from the ugliest. We survive and bend our knees because we draw out from our laziness, fear, and disgust. We let our deepest roots go dry, replaced by what can only be called a surge of lack of self esteem. We are deluded when we think we are only sacrificing our pride. We cling to vanity, but we can't afford dignity. Isn't it sad? Honestly, the true delusion is our faith in fall and winter, while we discard spring and summer as fairy tales. The sky can change color too, as long as we sometimes look up. We can notice. So many of you are soaking and enjoying your soak. It is almost as if, not as almost as if, but it's very similar to playing the victim role. Oh, the world is against me. Oh, I don't know. Every time I ask for help, people slap their hands away from me. But you fail to tell people that, oh, but I snapped on the person yesterday. They were trying to help me and I basically chewed their head off. And so now the next day when I do need their help, I went again and then the person just turned me away. It's like you don't want to see the full picture for what it is. So you soak and you ground yourself um, in soaking. And Spirit is saying it's time for, basically, I literally just heard it's time for you to grow up. It's time for you to put on your grown up clothes, whatever that may be, and go out and face the world. You can no longer sit in, I'm hearing subtle fear, meaning you subconsciously have these fears that you will not address. That is why I always, in my everyday life, I talk about getting help, mental health. And that is the reason because a lot of times, a lot of people go through mental trauma and it's like it's something that's in your mind that isn't true, right? You continue to tell yourself a story and it imprisons you, it blocks you, it chains you down to that story, that theory, when in reality you weren't in the right frame of mind to think in the first place. But when you are healed, when you think from a healed place, you see every situation for what it was. Instead of you seeing people attacking you, you see people that were trying to help you. And that's what I mean by you're not thinking correctly and seeming, it's like that off-putting of yourself. Let's get some real cards. I feel like you're going to get two cards. I really do. We'll see what Spirit has for you, Virgo. I just heard you are your worst. You are your own worst enemy. It's like you take pride in uh, seeing who has the worst pain, who has the most hurt. Um, it's like you put it on a scale. You hurt me the worst, and so I'm gonna take that all in because you hurt me the most. But look at me succeed because you hurt me the most. That's the energy vibe that I'm getting here. Okay, so you have a lot of cards. So I'm going to ask Spirit to help me decipher throughout these cards. But you do have two cards that actually flipped over. So I am going to take these because the rest are face down. But I am going to quickly check to see which cards Spirit would like me to ask for you. All right, you have three. So the first card is courage is knowing it might hurt and doing it anyway. Stupidity, stupidity is the same. That's why life is hard. What is the difference between courage and stupidity in your life? A big part of adulting is not crossing the line where your rebelliousness turns into recklessness. The people who ride this line most graciously usually have a clear eye on their values and a good friend or two who will tell them when they're being a dumbass. You can't decide if you're being brave or stupid. Call a friend. Hint. Don't call a dumb a friend though. So Spirit is saying you have to, and I said it earlier, growing up, it's like you have to grow up. And in order for you to grow and really um, walk into that newness, is that you have to have that friend that will slap you and shake you whenever you're in this stupor and you're stuck. You have to have that friend that's not going to sugarcoat things for you. You have to have those real conversations. I'm hearing Taurus, so maybe some of you have, you know, Taurus friends. I mean, you are both earth signs here. I'm sorry, I went blank. I went blank. I don't know why I went blank. I'm going to keep going though. But anyway, you have Taurus that's a part of your sign. And it's like you have to embrace that Taurus energy. You have to be not so much as bullheaded, but the bull that's taking charge, that's aiming for something new. And when a bull aims for something new, it's charging at it. It don't skip in you know walk towards the target. It charges, it runs full throttle towards it. And Spirit is saying that you cannot, you can, I just heard you can't keep the wild horse tamed, right? You can't put the reins on the wild horse. You got to let the wild horse be wild. And that is what the energy that you have to be in. Maybe some of you deal with horses and you understand what that means. It means you really have to tap into that energy and go full throttle with your transformation. Because I feel like this that is a part of it. This is something that you have to walk into in the new year, right? You have to start transforming your mind to believe that you are not the victim, believe that everybody that has quote unquote targeted you has not really targeted you, but you place that title because it's you wear it as a badge of honor. And Spirit is saying, stop. The next thing, the next card says, F what they say. I'm just gonna read it because I already know, but I'm gonna read this. What someone or anyone else says about you doesn't matter. Really and truly, it doesn't. If you heard it secondhand, it super doesn't matter. And if the person isn't your higher power, your boss, or your best friend, it super duper doesn't matter. Think about how much more time you have to dream up cool new SHIT if you really and truly stop worrying about what people say about you. You think Martin Luther King cared what other people said when he wasn't there? No. He was out marching and doing good shit. Let him talk. Do your shit. Um, that is in that energy, the same energy of that victim energy, right? So I know someone who's a Virgo, ironically, and we used to talk about things that's going on in his life. And he used to bring up all the time about what people said about him. And he went on this tangent about everything that the person said, the circumstances surrounding what the person said, the backstory, and how he tried to come up with a plan to get the person back. And I told him, I said, you put too much energy into attacking those that attacked you. Just let it go. Be the bigger adult. Adults don't. Uh, Adults do not get into childish what is it? Childish play. Child's play, right? When you're adult, you do things differently. You think differently. You move differently. You're not want to be in the same spaces as children. Right? You know how many times growing up you like, okay, the kids got to go outside because we can't handle it, or there's a kids space for the kids, and then it's a separate space for the adults. And that is the energy that Spirit is saying you have to do. It doesn't matter what they said about you. If it has not taken the life out of your lungs or has stopped your heart from beating, don't mind what people say. Now, if they curse you, I will say to reverse that curse or to protect yourself, do some type of spiritual prayer where you can protect your energy, because people will speak things on you that is not a part of you. And because they speak these things on you, whether you know it or not, then that could have effect. But outside of protection, and if somebody's gossiping and doing things, trying to destroy your character, don't mind it, because that goes along with the proof is in the pudding. If people take notice and start looking at you, and they notice that your actions do not mirror and line up with what this person has been saying about you, then they would have seen that this person has been caught in a lie. But if you make that lie true, you were moved out. The next card says, look at the effing moon. Just look at that thing. It's lovely AF, right? You're welcome. Another sign got this card as well. And I will say, looking at the moon, it's like stargazing, right? You see this glow. It's the biggest thing at night that you will see. Now, if you're in the city, you may not really see it, but if you can find that dark space in the sky, you can see it. But look at the moon. Look at the changes in the phases of the moon. That's what I'm really getting right now as I'm speaking. I'm literally seeing the different phases of the moon. I'm getting the Eight of Pentacles energy, meaning stay focused. Do what you're supposed to do. Go through this change. As the different phases of the moon happen, it means that the moon has gone through a cycle, right? And it means that you have to get into this energy of where you're not caring what people are saying, you're not doing or really focusing in on the negative stuff, you're focusing on positive things. And what that means is when you stay focused and just like the moon, you just go through things. You just go. I'm hearing you go through the motions, but in this sense, it's going through the positive motions. You know what trips you up. You know what causes you to want to fight or want to talk back to someone or want to curse at someone. And what Spirit is saying is just go through it with your mouth closed. I'm hearing that. His play is that go through it with your mouth closed, simply because it's showing maturity. I'm seeing the moon phases again, just like the moon goes through the first quarter, second quarter, half moon. It goes through those phases, and throughout that time, it is going through a in a sense, like a growth spurt. And it's like you're coming to that growth. And in order to get to that growth, you have to shed some things. You have to let some things go. When you mature as an adult, that's what happens. You let things go. You learn to, peace is everything as an adult. If you are an adult and you don't have peace in your life, baby, find peace, because peace is everything. And when you're in this peaceful state of mind, nothing can get to you. Nobody can say anything to break through that. So that is your message. Um, okay. Spirit wanted me to show you one thing. So I have to find this card. What is wands? I'm going. Spirit wanted me to show you the Ace of Swords. Remember we were just talking about the peace? Spirit says this is how you need to be. You need to turn up your face towards anybody that is speaking downwardly to you. I'm going to show you the elf card because I want to show you the position that you're currently in. So this is your state right now. You're looking down. You're looking sad. Spirit is saying, I wanted you to change your mind, change your thoughts, change the way you do things, and I want you to get in this upright position. I am accepting and I am embracing everything new in and around me. You might want to write that down as a something that you say every day, and that will help you with this change during this time. But you definitely have to get in this new state of mind where you have your head raised. It's time to stop looking down like a kid and being embarrassed. You may have done things. Ask for forgiveness, forgive yourself, and move on. So that is your reading. And I am now going to go to Taurus. And I will say this. Well, for all my readings, this is for any sign. If wherever you have Virgo, Taurus, or Capricorn in your chart, these are for you. Spirit tells me how to read, basically. So, I wish I could say I have the luxury of choosing, but I don't. So, Spirit wanted me to go Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, if anybody was wondering. All right, Spirit, let's some cards for our Tauruses. Spirit says you have two, one for each horn, because it's going to be two different groups of Tauruses, and I can guarantee that they are going to overlap. So there is fragmentation and envious gluttony. Fragmentation is 27. Envious gluttony, is number 9. So let's see what 27 says. Let me see. There we go. I'm trying to get the glare off. There we go. Fragmentation, moon phase is waxing crescent. Stage is anger. When rage is projected inward, destruction joins, confusion, and we break. Visual seed. What seems to be a cold iron coat rack is topped by a broken stone statue of a fairy, visible only from the chest up. Stone roses are at her breast. A crack cuts her face and her body. A jewel is on her forehead, and silvery insect wings stand at her back. A crescent, golden slice of the moon is like a halo behind her head. It is possible to glimpse, suspended in the void, also the hands of the stone fairy. Sentence, losing a sense of self is a crescendo of noise, a decrescendo of pain, and a prelude to nothingness. So some of you going through this now. You're angry at something. And basically what I'm getting is mainly because you forgot who you were. You forget or who you were for some of you. Some of you were in this positive energy and you're in this stage of finding yourself and you're angry about it. The decrescendo of pain, um, meaning you try to push away your pain and you try to make it non-existent when it's very much present, and it's the beginning of nothingness. So it's like you coming to that numbness of the pain, and when you do that, what you're doing is you're like a walking cyborg. If you've ever seen Terminator, it's almost like that type of energy. You're mad for no reason. You're here on an assignment, and your assignment is destruction because you're pushing away your pain. Okay, the spirit was just reminding me of if you've ever seen Vampire Diaries, when they talk about the vampire off switch, it's sort of that type of deal too. It's like you're angry for no reason. You're angry because you turn off your humanity, so you're just charging and doing things. Going dark. If I were to cut off my legs, would I still be me? If I were to carve out my heart, would I still be me? If my flesh would turn to stone, if my lungs were emptied of air, if my dream to fly were to be forced in chains and hanged out like an expired balloon, would I still be me? I fought and lost, broken beyond recognition, not by the shallow sight of bystanders who can pity but who can't understand. I cannot even recognize myself through the sobs, through the tears. And when silence finally comes, through the empty motions and the conventional smiles, who did this to me? I did. Maybe. Maybe not. What is broken can be mended, not so that it returns whole, but at least until it tells his name anew, my name. And who will do that to me? I will. So Spirit is saying it is time for you to fix yourself and be instructed to go to the tarot first. Um, you have to work on yourself, especially when you have been wounded to the point that you are numb. You have to get to that point. You have to get to that point and stage in your life when you start doing things for yourself. You start loving on yourself, right? And when you do that, what you're doing is you're nurturing yourself back to health. It is the same equivalent as when an animal gets wounded, and instead of the animal just allowing it to be there, the animal actually starts to lick its wound. And it's like you're so wounded, but you have not licked your wounds. You just walk around with all of these wounds. Oh, that's right. That's right. It's two cards. So Spirit reminded me of how this was going to work. Yeah, right now you are in this Five of Swords energy. You are definitely trying to figure some things out. I'm hearing for some of you, you just like, if I was a bird, I wish I could fly away. Or I just want to end it all. Suicidal ideation is basically what I'm getting. And it's because you're in all of this pain. But you have to start doing things for yourself to get out of that energy. You have to, let's see what the real cards say. Okay. You are a product of what you believe. So some of you have to change your thinking in that way as well. You have to stop believing that you are a failure. You have to stop believing that you will not succeed. You will have to stop believing the lies that you have told yourself. And the way to do that is by stop loving on yourself. If you say nobody wants me because I'm fat, start walking. Because at that point you're not walking for anybody else because you've already stated that nobody else is there, right? So you're walking for yourself. And when you start walking, you notice different changes about yourself. And so now your narrative about yourself that you created is now changing. And it goes along with anything. And for the new year, everybody makes the New Year's resolution. For a lot of people, it's always, losing weight and changing how they eat, blah, 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 blah. And so it's like in order to see these changes, you have to make the first steps. You have to make the first move. And then when you start making these moves, you start to say different things about yourself. It's like, oh, I haven't gotten in this dress in a long time. I haven't been able to wear these pants in a long time. And now I'm able to. That's encouraging yourself because you're starting to do for yourself. And I'm going to read the card. If you think you're a turd, you're probably going to act like a turd. Treat yourself like a turd and accept turd treatment from others. Why the F would you do that? First off, you're not a turd. It's just physically impossible to be a turd and a sentient being at the same time. But even if you have been kind of turdy, you believing you're golden will bring on all that golden behavior and that golden treatment. Today, just believe you're golden. If you liked it better there, go back to Turd Town tomorrow. So Spirit is saying, get a different perspective, get a new mindset. See where it takes you. See what doors open for you. See what new things happen for you. See where that gray sky, that moon, becomes the sun. Where that stone part of you becomes flesh. Where you no longer see yourself as broken, but you see yourself as whole. You have to get to that place. Now, envious gluttony, number 9. Let's see. There. I'm trying to get this glare off. There we go. Moon phase, waxing gibbous, stage, denial. Going to the edge of the ravine, savoring the ideal of letting go all restraint. The visual seed. A man has rotting, sickly skin and yellow eyes. He dresses in tatters, and sticky blood runs down his chin. He has clawed feet and a crown of a skeleton alligator jaw. The upper part on his head, the lower part on his chest, like a gaping mouth. Sentence: there is hunger sleeping just under the surface, like an animal lurking. Going dark. This card is not just dark, it is unpleasant, sickly, disgusting. The difference in the how we feel in front of a vampire as opposed in front of breathing bugs. It's not an essential darkness that we can paint of romance, drama, and subtle anguish. It is raw, primal, reeking of rotting stench. It feels like there is darkness, and in that black landscape, there is a hole, leading to an even greater darkness. And that is calling. The urge is pressed down every time, played with, toyed with, treated like something that doesn't belong here. It's like rolling in the mud, bringing out the twisted, refreshing feeling of demeaning oneself. The key is that we don't want to recognize the depth of the envy and the anger. We casted it out of ourselves, and now it's truly a parasitic monster, impossible to accept as something that came out of ourselves. What if we bring light to the pitch dark well? What if the scary monster is just a scrawny, starved feeling? What if it's just a little thing, dark as tar indeed, but to be sorry of, not to be feared? So I felt like at some point it was going to cross over. So this is the other side. So apart from you feeling broken, this is the that goes along more with you talking down about yourself. And it's like you are embracing the nastiness, the lies that people have told you, and you can't believe those lies because they're filthy. It's what's in the back of your mind that you need to release. You have to start your days off with writing words of affirmation to charge yourself and to speak over yourself, speak life to yourself. And that is a way that you fight demons those demons that tell you that you're not good enough, that you should just end it all because no one loves you, that you should wallow in your mess because, okay, because, you know, nobody's going to come visit you. Nobody's going to really care, right? You don't really care. So, just as long as you don't care, like nobody else has to, right? And you have to get out of that because spirit, first of all, does not want and wish anyone to wallow in their own mess. It's equivalent to you being a babe and nobody changes your diaper for a week, right? It's disgusting. It's your diaper is soggy, right? You have poop, you have pee in there. It's an uncouthness about it, and it's spirit is saying that you are holding yourself hostage in these moments every time you think and speak negatively, and you have to stop. You have to change the way you talk about yourself. You have to change your mindset, and the best way to do that again is to write affirmations and you sing them out loud. Whether you write scripture, whether it's certain lines of poetry, whether it's song lyrics that pick you up, that talks well of yourself. Spirit is wanting you to do that at this time. And as I'm saying this, I just noticed the card that came out. Nama Slay. The slay in me recognize the slay in you. Now, if you're not familiar with this term, I don't want to date myself, but whenever I was younger, we used to say, "Oh, you slayed that outfit," right? That was a term of endearment, meaning basically like you killed that outfit, you wore that outfit, that outfit didn't wear you, you were bad and bougie. And that's what I just heard. It's like you set yourself up, you are the cream of the crop. That is very opposite of this envious glutton. Oh, another part of this envious glutton is that you compare yourself to other people, and you say you don't, but you do. You look at other people's lives and say, well, how come their life is so much better than me? How come they never had to struggle like me? And it's like you don't know that person's story, so don't try to accept it. Don't try to embrace it. accept your story for what it is, and know that you have the power to get yourself out of it. Again, now I'm a slay. You need to slay. Some of you literally have to fix yourself up and go out by yourself. It's okay. If nobody else is doing anything for you, do it for yourself. If no one else is encouraging you, those words of affirmation, post them on your mirror so that while you even washing your face or brushing your teeth or doing your makeup or combing your hair or doing something in the mirror, you also are looking at those words of affirmations that are saying, yes, ma'am, yes, sir, you are loved, you are beautiful. Go out and slay the world, right? Go out and conquer the world. Don't let the world conquer you. So now I'm going to read the card. At some point, you got to get up and act like the people you admire. You probably know someone who is slaying at life right now. Spend today doing the S they do. Better yet, take them to coffee and ask them how exactly they managed to slay so hard. Then recognize where you are capable of the same kind of slay. So see, you have to, you have to surround yourself around people that you wish to have those characteristics of. Oh wow. Your card, the death card. It means spirit is saying you have to kill out this old person. You have to kill this out. You have to kill out this old because there's something new in here trying to come out. That slayness is inside. You are watering down, you are covering up, you are hiding, you are locking away your own slay in the world. And spirit is saying, when you realize and recognize who you are, all of this, no matter which side of the fence you are, Taurus, you have the ability to slay. For some of you, and only because I know a few Tauruses who have said this to me within the past few weeks, actually. If you're watching this, we've had those conversations already. And this is your first time watching. I've had conversations like this with Tauruses the last few weeks where you all have to get into this energy of going back to where you used to be. And it's not all, but it's several Tauruses that I know. And it's this death and rebirth, right? In order to be reborn, you have to let some things go. You have to let go of the things that no longer serve you. You have to surround yourself with positive people that's going to pour into you. And Tauruses are givers. You all are givers. Even though sometimes y'all get on my nerves sometimes. I'm just saying, y'all are givers. You give from your heart. But ask yourself this: how can you give to someone else when you're empty? Do you really think somebody wants to accept anything from you when you are wallowing in mess? When you are wearing a diaper full of poo and pee? Do you think anybody wants to accept anything from you? Would you accept that from anyone else? It's like you have to fix yourself up. You have to encourage yourself. You have to take those first steps. So this next few weeks leading up to the new year, if you take these steps, those steps rather, and you do them slowly, right? Because I know it takes time. It takes 21 days for you to change a habit. But if you start working on that now, if you start working on that now, you will be at 21 days. And so walking into the new year, you will have something new about you. You have that new aura, you have that new essence that you're looking for. So that is your reading. Thank you for tuning in. And now I must go to the Capricorns. Capricorns, what's going on? Oh, okay, this card wanted to come out. Queen of my world. Ooh. Okay, Spirit says there's another card for you as well. Perchance to dream. Queen of my world is 24. Perchance to dream is 28. Queen of my world. Let's see what she has going on. Moon phase is full. Stage. Bargain. I set limits to my world. Inside I am queen and outside is lost. Visual seed. Unto a snowy background, white columns rise through the forest. A pale woman dressed in scarlet red, bright red, with a crown of thorns and a white luminous lance strides forward. Her posture confident, her feet bare. Sentence: I am my world, and my world is me. I am royalty. Going dark. There is a space out and a space in. There is my realm and what is mine. And there are other places. I will not care if my world is made of thorn and ice, and if it's carved by my blood. My world is my world. I rule. I decide his borders, and I am law. I am princess. I am the blood in the veins of its heart. I am the warrior and the bride. I am alone, and I am the first among many. Be fearful of my world because it's paved of my hopes and dreams, and you have no power there. I am greater than the stars and more beautiful than the moon. So, this is that energy where you are all about self. And it's a good thing, but there is this thing called moderation, and you're not doing that, Capricorn. What I'm getting out of this is that you want everything to bend to your will. You want to walk the world without boundaries, and you can't. I know you want to, but there are rules and there's policies and procedures put into place so that everybody has an equal chance to do whatever it is that they're attempting to do, right? So that means that there's always going to be a give and take in relationship. With you, it's your way or no way at all. You're not allowing that chance to you're not allowing yourself to have that chance of being in a give and take relationship. It's like you would take, and you're going to be happy with what you're gonna I'm just gonna take, or you can be on the other side of the spectrum where you give. You're gonna accept what I give you, and you're not going to complain about it. That is a controlling energy, but control is the root of a control is fear. What are you fearing? You have to figure out what is it that you're fearful of. Why do you have to be in control? Why do you have to be the center of attention? Why must the world revolve around you? Why can't you live cohesively with everybody else in the world? I'm going to pull out both of these cards before I go to your the other card, because I'm interested in knowing what Spirit wants to say to you. Ooh. Okay, so we got all of these cards. I keep the third card from the bottom. Okay. No lie. The cards never lie, honey. It says, so you want to be a badass. Show your heart to everyone. It takes a lot of courage to be authentic in this world. Showing your heart doesn't mean you're soft all the time or that you're a hot mess or a doormat. It means you're showing up fully as yourself. You know what's weak AF? Living a fake A life, trying to please others. So, for some of you, you may be trying to please others, and you have this facade about yourself. But again, it's still that energy of take, 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 or give, give, give. And Spirit is like, no, you have to have balance. And in order to have this balance, you have to show up your heart. But showing up your heart also means that you have to face the fear, right? What is that fear that has you bound so much that you would rather put on this facade? You would rather dominate the world around you than to live cohesively with everybody else around. Why must you be in that type of energy? You have to ask yourself these things. I'm going to read this other card before I go to the tarot. I am so interested in knowing what comes out. I feel like you're going to get a full spread, honestly. 28 is perchance to dream. I have to check the cards because of the restrictions, but it looks good. So, the visual seed. Moon phase is new, stage is denial. If I sleep long enough, when I wake up, the pain will have been gone. Visual seed. A crowned naked man is reclining, his eyes closed and his body dissolving in the wind. Another man holds him gently. Behind them, a circle of brass, risen by thin silvery threads. Sentence: to die, to sleep, perchance to dream, or going dark. It's the time to surrender, to drown, to dive in head first in the cozy, all enveloping darkness of the blanket. It is a moment of weakness, a desire to close your eyes and surrender just for one moment, 1 second, 1 minute. Not like a hero fighting the world, but like a kid, just welcoming the darkness outside within fully. How long will that moment last? A minute, we can say, just a minute, but it's not true. Disappearing is but an instant, just the time to take a breath twice. And yet, it can take ages. Ages we will regret, ages that we will have lost, like stolen by our own surrendering. And yet, we close our eyes. We let one sense after the other slow down to nothing. Sight first, then hearing and smell. Last will be the touch, the comforting hand we all deserve, to hold us up when we have done enough and we just cannot but let it go. So the main part of this is the first sentence. If I sleep long enough, when I wake up, the pain will have been gone. That's that delusional that, oh, everything's fine, everything is okay when you're hurting and you're being tormented on the inside. That is why we talked about that heart space. Why you have to clear up that heart space. Because also in this facade, you put on this facade to say, oh, if I do this, if I treat everybody like they're nothing, then they're going to care for me, because people like to be dominated and tortured, and that's far from the truth. Nobody really loves those things. Um, yes, it's a kink and play for some people, but people don't typically like to be in bondage. People don't really like to be told what to do and talked down to. And it's like Spirit is saying, you have to really heal this heart space. You have to really dig deep. And I feel like most of you all know exactly what that pain is that you want to do, that you have to deal with. Not that you want to deal with, but that you have to deal with. You don't want to deal with it. And that is why you have been in both of these energies. You refuse to look at the problem for what it is. And so you just carry on as if it's not there. And what it is causing you to be in this energy. You're dominating and trying to control everything else around you. And that's not working for you. That's not going to work for you in 2024. Spirit wants to bless you with some new things, but Spirit cannot bless you in that type of energy. I want to see if another real card comes out, but primarily Spirit wants you to know that you have to clear up their heart space. You can't walk around the world angry and mad, bossing everybody around because you're basically have a temper tantrum. Yes, like a kid. Those fell out, but these are the cards that Spirit wants you to have. Forgive the F out of someone today. Look at the F and moon. Now, who was it? Virgo, I believe, got that card as well. But Spirit is letting me already know that a lot of the pain that you're holding on to is because you're not forgiving someone that hurt you, someone that did something to you, and you have to forgive. There's no other way around it. Forgiveness literally has been linked towards contributing to cancer. And I'm not talking about the zodiac sign, I'm talking about the disease. So you have to forgive. And it can not only cause physical cancers, but it can cause spiritual cancers in your life as well. So I'm gonna read the card. You're probably thinking it's not that easy. Sorry, but yes, the F it is. Take all the energy you've put into being mad and making a case for how wrong so and so is, and let that S go. Start small so you can get the hang of it. The driver who just cut you off, yell, I forgive you, and wave. Secret bonus perk, forgiving someone usually pisses them off worse than anything else. And look at the effing moon. Just look at that thing. It's lovely AF, right? You're welcome. So just like the new phases of the moon, I'm picking up that you have to go through a different phase with your heart, the different phases of healing. That is right. You have to go through the initial shock phase. Then you have to recognize what has been taken or what was lost, if anything was lost during that hurt. Right. Then you have the actual process of facing it. And this is where a lot of people tend to stop. I'm like, oh, I'm not going to face this thing. I've already dealt with this long enough. I'm just going to push it to the back of my mind. I'm not going to let it control me. Well, I'm sorry to tell you this, but it's controlling you anyway. It's allowing you to be angry. And so a part of that is when you really look at the situation, you can see the other person's story as well. You can see that, okay, well, they were immature too. Maybe this is something that happened when you were kids. And, oh, wow, like we were 18 years old. And, oh, wow, I'm hanging on to something that happened when we were kids. We're now 47 years old. Like, baby, it's time for me to really let that go because I've been holding on to this for so long. It's causing me problems. It's causing me to lash out at people. Like that's that type of energy. But it's like when you look at the moon, you have no cares in the world. It's like you have this release. And not only that, like I was saying earlier, you have to let your heart go through those phases of the moon, those different changes until it becomes whole again. Because right now you're stuck at what is it, a quarter moon? You're stuck at a quarter moon. And it's like your heart wants to heal, wants to get to that full moon, but you're blocking it from progressing. So you have to forgive people. That you have to let things go that way and show your heart. Start showing people your attitude. Show people your heart. I know a lot of Capricorns. Y'all have heart, and y'all will get upset when someone treats you wrong. But you have a heart. You have and some people was like, really? Capricorns have hearts? Yes, Capricorns have hearts. Believe it or not, I get along with most signs that people say that they don't get along with. And that's funny to me. But Capricorns have hearts. They're some of the best people that I know. Oh, okay. If these cards come out again, I will take them. But you have the World card here. It means you are coming to a full cycle. What did I say about the moons? You got the moon card. In order to get to that complete cycle, you have to heal. You have to. That is where you're heading. This is you in the new year. You're gonna walk with your head high, but this time you're gonna walk with peace. You're not gonna walk with anger. You're gonna walk as a complete person and not half of a person. And that's gonna take strength. So I wouldn't be surprised if the strength card comes out for you. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take these. Yep. I knew if you have been watching with me, Virgo, if you're still here, here is the Eight of Pentacles that I was talking about with that moon card. So, and this is how the phases of the moon, you have to focus on you. You have to focus on healing. You have to focus on healing. That's what's going to get. What came out before that is the Seven of Wands. This protected. You have to like. It's like you have to protect your bubble of peace, right? And in order to do that, you see that part of the chakra. It's like you have to find balance. The only way you find balance in a situation is when you learn to let things go. Because if you're holding on to too many things, um, I'm hearing bag lady and seeing a lot, a lady with a bunch of bags on her left arm, right? If she has a lot of bags on her left arm and she has nothing on her right arm, she's going to lose her balance walking because it's too much weight on the left side. So, in order for you to find balance, in order for you to find peace, you have to learn to let things go. And in order to let things go, you have to find that peace. Um, I'm going to flip this card over, but you have the Seven Pentacles here and the Death card here as well, just like Taurus just got. Up, Three of Cups, celebrations. So you want to start celebrating this new you because it's going to be prosperous for you. What you put out will return to you perfectly. But again, you have to kill some things. You have to let some things die. You have to let that pride go. You have to let your pride and your ego go and heal. You have to let go of what that person did to you. You have to forgive them. Whatever this was, you have to let that situation die. I intentionally let this card down because it landed on the world card, so I'm very interested in knowing what it is. Judgment, freedom. What did I say earlier? You have to love on yourself. You have to let it go. Spirit is saying, this is my judgment for you. You have to let it go. You have to have that ultimate freedom. You see how her physical self is restricted, it's bound. It's like this is the energy you're in. And Spirit is saying, I'm trying to get you to ascend like this energy here. I want you to experience this freedom so much that you don't have to worry about anything. I want you to feel like you're walking on air. Feel like you're walking on air as a complete person. This is my judgment. So you have the judgment card, and these are two major arcana. You have a major arcana card, basically clarifying a major arcana card, meaning these are major things that are happening in your life. And you have another major arcana card telling you that once you start this change, these things can happen. So that is your reading, my Capricorns, my earth signs. I hope you take this all in. I hope you recognize and understand that you have to let things go in this new year because there's going to be some new things happening for you, or actually start letting them go before the new year so that you can receive new things in this upcoming year. Thank you all and good night.